Hello, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Brilliant. Oh, sheesh. Thank you so much for chatting to me today. I really appreciate it.
Of course, I'm happy to be here.
Cool. Awesome. So I'm a bit sweaty. It's just been one of those days. Cool, man. I thought just to get off to a good start, maybe you could just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, do you have something specific you want to know about me?
I mean, when did you get into photography? Is it always something that you've been into, or?
So professionally, I have kind of a weird story about how I started, but it was when I was 14. I just happened to stumble into a situation where I could do photography and videography for money. And it started with like a graduation that I shot video and photos of. And at 14, I was in a place where my parents didn't have any money, and I was like, I need to figure out how I'm going to make money. And I wanted to avoid having to go to school. And the camera was a thing that I felt like, particularly like editing, like video editing and photo editing, I felt I picked up really quickly, whereas like other things I didn't pick up very quickly. So it felt natural to me to do that.
Yeah.
So once I realized I could make money with it, it was like a no-brainer for me. Like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So since then, it's pretty much all I did up until 2020. And that was when I really like made the switch to I'm not doing video anymore. I'm not doing any of that kind of work. And photography is the thing I do for me and not for clients. And it became more of like a artistic thing for me at that point, where I really like stopped taking clients basically and was just like, this is for me now. But it was a long, I guess I was 14 in 2010. So
you're young.
Yeah, but it's been 12 years. It's been a long process to get to where I'm just making these books, but yeah.
That's amazing. Well, your work is jaw-droppingly beautiful. I've been a huge admirer for quite some time, and I was just wondering, I mean, is there a particular process in how you come up with original ideas for your work?
I'd say a lot of my ideas come whenever I'm looking at something I just shot. So it'll start with me just shooting something with a friend, like maybe I'm testing out a new camera or a new piece of gear. And then as I'm looking at those photos, ideas will kind of bubble up, like, oh, it'd be cool if I tried this, it'd be cool if I tried this. And then the next time I'll try that. And then it's just rinse and repeat. And
Are you one for Pinterest, or is it you prefer just to go straight from like your mind's eye? Or?
Yeah, I've never done like mood boards or looked at other photographers for inspiration. I think that just came from when I started in 2010. That wasn't really a thing you could even do.
Yeah.
So, and I was the only photographer in my school, and I didn't have other photographer friends, so I didn't really have any like reference point for like, here's who's inspiring me. So I think that I was just so used to just shooting and figuring stuff out on my own that's partially why it's taken so long, is because I never learned from people who came before me. But yeah, it feels good to be authentic though, to, you know, whatever I'm making, I know it's coming from.
It really comes through like profoundly in your work. I think it's a very admirable thing when you can, I mean, Instagram and Pinterest, you know, it has its place. I'm not denying that, but it's rare nowadays that you meet people that aren't like, okay, let's look at this mood board and try and replicate this. That's, you know, it takes some of the spice out of just being in that moment and getting those happy accidents and things like that. So yeah, I really admire that about you. Cool.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. So do you think you have any advice that you could give to some aspiring photographers out there that perhaps want to get more creative in their photography but aren't really sure how to do that?
So what really helps is not depending on it for your income. And if you can get yourself into a position where maybe you have another job that pays your bills and you don't have to worry about money, and then in your free time, photography is the thing you do for you. It's your escape. It's how you express yourself. I think that's when you're going to be able to make the most genuine and honest creative work, because you're not thinking about a paycheck. You're not thinking about what's going to make me money, what's going to get me followers, what's going to, whatever it is. And that was, like I said, and it was really in like 2018, I started shifting towards that. But in 2020 was when it was like, all right, this is it now. But everything I made in 2019 was with that, I guess, mindset of like, I'm just doing it for me now. I don't care if this is going to get me work or not. And what's funny is once I did that, I got more work that I actually wanted to be doing, because it was people finding me for me and not for what I thought people wanted, you know.
That's really interesting, actually. Following your passions, and then it kind of grows organically from there, for sure.
Yeah. So that's, I guess, my advice would be, if you can find yourself in a position like that where you don't have to worry about making money with it, and then make exactly what you want to make and let that be your portfolio, then the work you get from that will be stuff you actually want to do, and you'll feel more fulfilled from that work. And you won't end up in a place like where I was for a long time, doing like senior photos and, you know, couples shoots and weddings and stuff like that.
That's amazing. That's really, really insightful information there. And speaking about your work, I mean, I love double exposure photography. It's something that I really want to get into and learn more and progress with. And I think I actually found you when I watched one of your double exposure videos on YouTube about you were using the red and the blue light, and it was so refreshing to see a multiple exposure done in a different way rather than just textures over a portrait, you know. And I was wondering, what is it particularly about double exposure or multiple exposure photography that you really enjoy?
I like that it just expands your opportunities to be creative. I think, you know, shooting for 10 plus years and shooting the same things over and over, you look for ways to try new things once you feel like you've tried everything. And as soon as you start doing double exposures and exploring that, it's like, oh, there's so much I can try now. And the ideas just start flowing, and then you get addicted to that. And it's something I still feel like I've barely explored. And I have a lot more ideas that I haven't tried with it that I do want to try eventually. But yeah, I think that's what it is. It's like opening up a whole new, you know, realm of photography.
It's so interesting. I actually I did a double exposure film swap with a friend recently, and oh my goodness, it just reignited the passion for it. I was like, this is like literally like, I need to do this. And yeah, it's really, really a lot of fun. I'm excited. Are you going to do some more of it in the near future? Can we expect to see some more?
So I have I like to always focus on books. So right now I'm focusing on my next book after the one I just released, which isn't going to have a lot of it multiple exposure stuff in it. But after that one, I think I do want to try just like a fun project where I just focus on what can I do with multiple exposures for a book.
That would be so exciting. Please, I want to be the first one in line for that one. Speaking, sorry to interrupt you.
You're fine. I was just saying it'll be a fun one to explore, because when it's more of like I'm trying to tell a story with a book, it feels like there's a lot more pressure and I have to really put a lot of work into that. But with something like the double exposure thing, it's a lot more free form and I can just have fun with it. So that's something I look forward to. Each
image is like an individual story in and of itself. It's limitless. I really, really enjoy it. Yeah. Speaking of books, would you mind sharing a little bit about the passion and drive behind Horizons?
So I had the idea for Horizons when I was still making Alone Together in 2019. And the idea was simply just making bodies look like landscapes, and exploring how to make that the most accurate way possible without doing black and white, because it had been done in the past, at least it's been published in the past in a black and white photo book. And once I saw that, I was like, I need to figure out how to do it with color. And I feel like with lighting these days, the amount of range of color that you can get from specific lights is a lot. You have a lot more, I guess, freedom with that and control with that than you ever have in the past. So it felt like a good opportunity to do that and to really just try to make the most accurate landscape possible with a body. So that was like the what drove me to make the project, was just trying to achieve that perfection.
Wow. I had no idea it was body parts. I think it took me a while. I was like, hold the phone, what?
And that's the most exciting and interesting thing I've found about this project compared to my past projects is it's not artistic in the sense that it's open to interpretation. It just is what it is, and everybody has had a very similar experience with the photos where they first see it and your brain tells you that's just a landscape, and then as you look at it a little longer, you're like, wait, that's not a landscape, and then you start trying to figure out which part of the body it is. And it's the first time I've seen like a consistent reaction like that from people where everybody's having a very similar experience, which I thought, I don't know, I find that exciting.
I thought it was amazing. There was one picture, I'll have to send it to you. I believe it was like a rib cage, but it transported me back to when I used to live in Namibia. Like I spent some time there and I was like, holy moly, he wasn't in Namibia. This guy's like insane. Like, but it was so nostalgic for me. And I think the tones and everything, it just reminded me of like the sunsets there. It was just like, sheesh man, like really beautiful stuff. I'm really excited to see it.
Thank you. I'm excited to share it. I have it right.
I saw your video. Oh, I love the green and the front is beautiful.
It's my favorite color combination. A few of my designer friends, when I was designing it and showing it to them, I was like, it has to be green and gold. I just love green and gold. They were like, it doesn't fit the project. I'm like, I don't care. It has to be green and gold.
I think it does in a way. Like, I think it does. When I think of horizons, I think of like the green, rolling hills. Like, we live in Devon, England. Like, there's literally just green everywhere. So
yeah.
I think,
and that was like the one thing that I wasn't able to get in the collection was greens and like grass. So I felt like I have everything else in the book, so the green grass can be on the outside of the book. So that's part of why.
That's cool. I
it's
love
also
it.
just my favorite color.
I can't wait to get my copy. I've got to order it soon.
Yeah.
So other than Horizons, do you have any up and coming projects or anything exciting coming up?
So my next book is called The Way You Felt. And it's going to be another poetry and photography book like Alone Together was, but it's a little more poetry leaning just because there's going to be more poems than there were in Alone Together. And those are pretty much all written already. I just have to plan out and shoot the photos. And that'll be the main difference with that book is I'm actually, pretty much getting the photo completely planned out before I even take it, which is something I haven't done in the past. So it's kind of a challenge to myself to do that.
I find it very interesting when you meet artists and creators that are like skilled at multiple different things. And you write your own poetry as well and do writing, is that correct?
Yeah, Alone Together was the first poems I ever wrote were for that book.
Wow.
They just started coming to me as I was shooting the book. And most of them are inspired by the people that I was photographing, like the conversations we would have. I would just have, after they would leave, I would have a poem come to me that just made sense. And I would write it down and I was like, I guess these are going in the book. So that's kind of how that went. But the next one, The Way You Felt, is more personal to me and my experience with like nostalgia and love, not like romantic love. That's part of it, but just love as a whole.
Mm.
And that's what the photos and poems will be based around, the theme.
Exciting. And where can our viewers find you online?
My name's Jake Wangner, so that's my @name on Instagram, and that's my website. There's 2 N's in there, WANGNER. And yeah, my products are on my website. So as I make books, you can find them there.
Brilliant. I'll link everything in the description below so people know where to find you. And one final question for you, Jake. What does creativity mean to you?
For me personally, I think it has a lot to do with expressing anything. So expressing a feeling, expressing yourself and how you feel as a person, and trying to visualize that.
Mm.
That's kind of been my experience with it.
That's exciting. It's the one question I ask all the creators that I've been interviewing recently, and it's always so interesting to hear everyone's interpretation of, you know, how it makes them feel and what it means to them. So yeah, thank you for that. That's really cool.
What's it mean to you?
Wow, I've never been asked that. Creativity for me kind of came as a way of dealing with grief. My dad's terminally ill, and it's been a very long, painful road, and I was in a very dark place, and creativity for me was just my form of therapy and a way of dealing with all the negative emotions attached. And yeah, just figuring out how to work my way through it and find myself again, I guess. At this moment in time, I'm sure it will change.
Do you feel like that's helped you?
Yeah, definitely. Big time. I've been working ever so slowly on a zine, trying to get things together, and not necessarily for anyone else, but more for myself, so I can look back on it 10, 20 years down the line. And yeah, it's really helped mentally, yeah, because I'm not much of a talker in person. I'm very closed off, so having another way of communicating is yeah, is what I need at this point in time.
I think I relate to that too, in terms of like, I've always seen, you know, photos and whatever I create as a way to communicate, because I'm pretty quiet too. I'm shy. So it's like I can let the work speak for me. So if someone sees that, they don't have to talk to me. They can just see that.
Yeah. Please don't talk to me. Just
here's what I have to say. Read my book.
That's really cool. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat to me today and share a little bit about yourself. And yeah, like I said, I'll link everything in the description, and all the best with your up and coming projects. Cool. Thank you for your time. Have a lovely day, and I'll catch up with you soon.
You too. Bye.
Bye.